All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, continuing our Saturday night's main event review series. Gonna be Saturday night's main event 31. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, and this is going to be a farewell Saturday Night Main Event for 14 years after this. Unfortunately, it's a shame because it was such a great thing that Vince did over the course of the last, what was
Yeah,
it, 7 years?
yeah, it was
And
awesome. You got
it,
to figure,
it really was.
yeah, you got to. I think the reasoning behind it was Monday Night Raw was right around the corner.
Yeah.
You're just months away from Monday Night Raw, and so it kind of there's really not the
It
same
defeats the
reason.
purpose of it.
Yeah. So
And then he would eventually be doing the some other spin-off shows too.
yeah,
But it still would have been nice every so often, even if he did it like 3, 4 times a year, just to do it for the
yeah,
nostalgia. Because I
yeah,
mean, there
but
were a lot of us that were Saturday Night main event
yeah, no, I
fans.
loved it. I loved it. All right.
Well, let's get into this last one. October 27th, 1992. They aired it November 14th,
Yeah.
1992.
And
Survivor
a lot
Series
of
right around the corner.
And a lot of stuff happened between that. We'll get into it. A lot of stuff happened in between them filming this and then when it finally aired. And we'll get into all of that.
And they did mention a match for Survivor Series that never happened.
Yeah.
And Bobby Heenan at the end giving us the nice little
Mhm.
farewell to somebody. Anyway, let's get right into it. Opening matchup was for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Money Inc. defending the titles against the Mega Macho Maniacs, Mega Maniacs. It don't matter. They look like Slim Jim employees. It was Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior, and this was actually pretty cool because, well, besides the fact that Money Inc. came out first, Savage comes running out with the Ultimate Warrior.
And both of them running
That's
to the
something
ring. That was
that's
awesome.
something we don't see.
That was so good. I like how what Heenan says, oh, the inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was so
because
cool to see them together.
Savage was a lunatic. We already know
Hmm.
Warrior is.
Yeah. And they were good
As
friends in real life. So
Yes. And as much as I like them teaming together, I like them even more fighting against each other. I don't know. There's just something about that feud that just is awesome. I don't know. Just the way they were in the ring. The 2 times I got to see it, I'd rather see them fight than team against each other.
but it was still cool though. I
It
liked it.
was. They beat the crap out of Money Inc. in this one. I
Hmm.
mean, they took them apart. It was cool to see Savage and DiBiase in the ring again 4 years after WrestleMania 4. Of course, this
They
will probably be one of the last times.
they uh
But
they they, they showed Razor and Flair on the screen during the
yeah, Vince
match.
Vince was interviewing them.
He was interviewing them. Flair, I mean, Perfect was obviously there too, so because
Yeah,
they're
unfortunately,
getting ready for their Survivor Series match that
never happened.
was not exactly to be, but
Exactly, unfortunately. But and this was a fast match. But this Saturday Night Main Event, I think it was only an hour this time. I don't think they didn't run the hour and a half, which is unfortunate.
remember once they went to Fox, I believe it was an hour. I don't think it was
Yeah,
an hour and a half
which
when they went to Fox.
see,
Yeah.
that was too. They should have never moved there, but whatever. So Savage hits the elbow drop on IRS, which should have clinched it right there. DiBiase broke it up. Warrior came in. He clotheslined DiBiase out of the ring. Savage atomic dropped IRS out of the ring. This was like a 5 minutes of mayhem that the referee just could not
Hmm.
control. And the match ends in a double countout. So Money Inc. keeps the tag titles, and Macho and Warrior are supposed to go on to Survivor Series after this. We'll get to that a little
Well,
later.
but don't forget, Flair and Flair, Perfect, and
Mm-hmm.
Razor came out.
Yeah, after they brawled in the aisle, Flair and Razor came down, and then it became a 4-on-2 match.
Yeah.
And then, I remember watching this, and I was like, well, hell, change this to a Survivor Series match, 4-on-4.
Yeah.
But they didn't. This
Yeah.
was actually going to be the first year that they really moved away from the 4-on-4
Hmm.
competition. They had a match, but for the most part, it was all singles and tag matches, which I didn't understand why Vince changed it. I guess lack of a roster, possibly, because this is where everybody was starting to go. Following this, we actually were supposed to get a Bret Hart music video.
Yeah, making some noise.
Thank God we didn't.
That was a great video, man.
It was, but
That was awesome.
I could do without it right now.
But
But
I think it just gets cut out on the network. Well, obviously it does get cut out on the network. It was
yeah, they showed it live on the Saturday
when it
Night
was
Main Event.
live,
They showed it
the original airing, and also WrestleMania 10, they showed it again. They remixed a little bit, little different footage, but it was the same song. It was Tom Petty making some noise. I'm assuming that they don't have the copyright, and so that's why they didn't. They took it out of
there.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the song. But
It's whatever. The next contest on the card was the British Bulldog defending the title, the Intercontinental title, against Shawn Michaels. And at this point, I remember Shawn was starting to feel complacent. Like, okay, you gave me this push in the beginning, and now it's just like I'm there. And because I remember it was on his documentary that he went to Vince and be like, okay, what's the deal? I'm not going anywhere. And then that's when he had the idea, oh, okay, we're going to make you the Intercontinental Champion.
I don't know what he was complaining about, because how long was he a singles wrestler?
Not even 10 months at this point.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, a few more months wouldn't have hurt.
Right, yeah.
Especially when during this match, they announced that the Bulldog was going to be defending the Intercontinental title of the Survivor Series against the Mountie. And that didn't happen.
But then Heenan also said that if Shawn wins this match, he's gonna go on to face Bret Hart for the title, and it's gonna be champion versus champion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And which is exactly what we got.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, conspicuous by her absence, Sherry was not at ringside due to the Marty Jannetty incident that had happened, where Jannetty went to hit Shawn with the mirror, and he pushed Sherry in his direction, and he accidentally hit Sherry with the mirror, and Shawn got the hell out of there. So, unfortunately, we'll get the Jannetty-Michaels match at the Rumble, but it's 1 year too late. Because at this point, everybody's like, I'm over it. So, the match itself was pretty good. Shawn and Bulldog were always good. Unfortunately, Bulldog is always on the other end of it, not getting the victory, unfortunately. And so, Shawn really went to work on his back. And I like that when he takes the turnbuckle apart, but he puts the pad back.
Yeah.
And he is like, oh, look, he's a nice guy. He put it back.
Yeah.
Which Bulldog lands in there hard, which he hurts his back during the match, which would play greatly towards the ending of the match, because when he goes for the suplex off the top rope, Michaels is able to reverse it to where he lands on top of Bulldog, gets the 1, 2, 3. Michaels is now the Intercontinental Champion.
And he doesn't even move. Like, Bulldog just lies there. He's like, oh, he hurt his back, and he just lies there and motionless. So behind the scenes story is that British Bulldog gets fired right after this.
Yes, he does.
The whole steroid thing. Him and Ultimate Warrior both get fired, suspended, whatever you want to call it, because they were using some new HGH, which I don't even think was a banned substance at the time. But so anyway, either way.
No, but they had that one guy that had it out for WWE that was doing the testing.
They were nervous. They were scared. They
really were.
The whole thing with the trial thing it's starting up, and so the investigation, and so they were scared, and so basically Vince had a zero tolerance policy for it. So Bulldog gets fired, never goes on to face the Mountie. Obviously, Ultimate Warrior gets fired and never shows up at Survivor Series to team up with Macho Man.
Yep. Unfortunately, they're both gone. Yeah. So right after this match, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewed Ric Flair, Razor Ramon, and Mr. Perfect. Flair actually challenged the winner.
Yeah.
Of the match at Survivor Series, Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels.
Whoever's the champion, yeah. Well, that never happened.
It happened on a house show, but that was it. Because then we all know Flair goes to the Rumble. The next night has a career-ending match against Perfect, then he's out the door. So, which is a shame, but it is what it is. And then at the same time, Vince is having a youth movement. So anybody that's elder, hit the bricks.
There you go.
So and then, of course, right after that, Mean Gene had interviewed Bret Hart, which was funny because, he's talking about his match or whatever. They would interview him again later, which was the better interview, because that's when Shawn had got interviewed.
I actually thought this was a good promo. He was talking about his life. He was talking about his father, how his father trained him and everything. I thought it was a pretty good promo.
Mm-hmm. It got better, though, when his opponent decided to come up. And just looking at those two, the only thing I could think of was 97. And it's always at Survivor Series, these guys face each other. I've said that before. 92, 93, 97. They were involved in a tag team match, I believe, in 88. I mean, it's just always in November.
Yep.
Our final match of the evening that didn't need to happen was for the WWE Championship, Bret Hart defending the title against Papa Shango. Why?
Because Bret was
I know he tried to champion, but he was giving title matches to guys that. All right, Bret, I understand you're trying
fighting
to be
champion. He defends it. He defends it against everybody.
Virgil on Superstars, Rick Martel, Papa Shango, Skinner.
I know.
Skinner.
I know.
He didn't have enough when he defended the IC title against Skinner. He had to give him a WWE title shot at one point. I mean, come on, man. And anyway, it was a 13 and a half minute match. I mean, the Godfather or Kama or Papa Shango, whatever you want to call him, he is a good wrestler. I just thought the gimmick at this point was played out and cheesy. I as a wrestling fan, when he first came in, I tried to give it a chance. It really didn't work, especially when he screwed up at WrestleMania. As far as Vince didn't fire him for that. But in anyway, Bret Hart gets the sharpshooter on Papa Shango. Shango is like practically yelling it at the referee. So Bret Hart, in his first televised title defense, wins the match. Congratulations to Bret on that one.
Yeah,
many more to come.
Because he had just beat Ric Flair and
in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a weird. It kind of felt like weird when Bret.
That didn't make sense. I think this should have been the night they should have televised Flair losing the title.
It just felt weird because like it happened. Everything happened so fast, and then like I'm watching this Saturday Night's Main Event because I remember watching it live, and Bret being the champion and just feeling like, is he supposed to be the champion? Eventually, you got used to Bret, and you're like, wow, he is a champion. But the way they did it, like there was no build up. They just gave they gave the belt to him. It was kind of.
I was watching Superstars, and then all of a sudden they said we're going to interview the new WWE champion Bret Hart, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was kind of
Bret Hart.
It worked out. It worked out.
It did. It really did.
That early part was kind of a little odd.
It just shocked you, just like when Diesel won it, and you find out on Superstars that Diesel won it the night after Survivor Series. Like, wait, hold on here. I mean, there was no notice of this. So Flair was the placeholder between Savage and Bret for the new generation. And I've said it before. Savage didn't hold it nearly long enough, in my opinion. I don't think that was too short of a reign for him. This is Vince making chaotic moves at this point, from 92 to 93. So following this, you could say this was the main event on the funeral parlor. Paul Bearer interviews The Undertaker about their upcoming casket match or coffin match against the Ugandan giant Kamala.
It's funny when they showed the blueprints.
Yeah,
the casket.
They did that with Hogan too.
Well, they
showed the blueprints and it shows how he's making the casket.
They did it with Yokozuna, the double D, double wide.
Yeah. And you need one of those here too, pal.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, this feud was I mean, Kamala was a threat maybe in the 80s, but when you're getting into the 90s, it's just like, no. But whatever. So, and then following that, Mean Gene once again interviewed Bret Hart, congratulating him on his title defense. And then Shawn Michaels shows up, and it just gets going. And Mean Gene's getting in the middle of it. He's yelling at them because it looked like they were going to go at it. And Shawn's telling him, I got one belt. I'm coming. I'm going to take yours now.
Yeah. Remember what happened? I beat the guy that you lost to.
Yep. Yeah. What was his name? He kept telling me was the British Bulldog. I beat the British Bulldog. I'm like, so you got to be Bret now.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was cool though. The two champions, but it's kind of again, it's just like Bret being the champion like that. The way they did it was kind of weird. Shawn just got the title. There's no build up, champion versus champion. It's just like, oh, here we go, champion versus.
There was no build up when they announced that the main event was Bret versus Shawn.
Right, it's just like
you're looking at it going, why is it Bret versus Shawn?
Like thrown together, yeah. Great wrestlers, but at that time,
and the match was good.
Yeah, but
at the time, you're just like you're coming off an era of Hogan,
right? And
Savage was just champion, and now all of a sudden, then he lost it on, and nobody knew about, and then Flair loses it and nobody knows about, and we're like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was just
But it was a little chaotic.
It does, yeah.
And to sum up the night, Bobby Heenan has his big gift, doesn't want to open it. Reason why? He's on the phone stating that Savage and Warrior will not come out together.
Yep.
And one of them will have a new partner. And we're like, and I'm like, well, now I know who it is. And
you could tell that they basically just filmed this like after the fact, like right before that. Like they added that onto the program that they already had. They had already filmed, and then the whole thing happens with Warrior, and then they just added it to that. They just spliced it together, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then you find out. I guess it's on primetime a couple of days later, probably that you find out Perfect is going to be in his corner and all that.
Yeah,
Perfect is going to take Warrior's place. Yeah.
Warrior he walked out or whatnot, and Savage is like, I thought I could count on him, and I got the perfect partner, and Perfect was laughing in the beginning. It was good. That was a good primetime.
Yeah, no, they were able to salvage
yes.
Out of the mess that they had, they were able to salvage, and they did a good job. But just as an Ultimate Warrior fan, I couldn't explain how disappointed I was when that happened. But
I was pissed.
But it is what it is.
I really wanted to see Warrior and Savage versus Razer and Flair in the ring at Survivor Series, and we don't get it. And Vince found a way to get Perfect back into the ring because he was medically cleared, but still, Perfect's no Warrior by any means. But the match was good, but it would have been better with the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, so this is the as far as I'm concerned, this is the last Saturday Night's Main Event. I know there's more in the future in 2008.
2006 they started back up.
Yeah,
right before WrestleMania 22.
To me, that's we're gonna cover them, but that's not Saturday Night's Main Event. That's something else. This is Saturday Night's Main Event.
It's like main event or velocity or something.
Yeah, this is the end. And
I know this was
run and
Saturday Night Main Event from 85 to 92 was the epitome of WWE back then.
It was awesome.
It was great. It was to see 31 episodes of just awesome.
I hated to see it come to an end, but
I did too.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, I thought they could do maybe 3 or 4, not as many as they were doing. I know you have Monday Night Raw coming, but still, this would have been cool if you could continue it.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it doesn't. And then, like we said, 14 years later, it's gonna pop back up. Yeah. Not as good as the original.
No, not even close.
Right.
All right. Well, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.